Morning.
Morning.
It's Tuesday, it's September 11th, and it's a bit of a dark, grey, dirty morning out there again. We're going to see some showers in places this morning, but the good news is actually generally dry across most parts of the county today, apart from the odd passing shower. Temperatures are really starting to get September-y. That's a word I made up.
Yeah.
It's 12 now, but we're going to see highs today of only about 15 or 16.
The races.
The races, the still races.
Races weather.
And the nights are starting to get that little bit chillier again. But so we'll see some showers in places today, but generally kind of a mix of overcast and dull conditions, but dry for the most part. So fingers crossed that lasts for the day. So we'll see.
So some of the papers, big stories today. The Roy Keane saga is on the front pages of all our papers this morning. Let's start with the Irish Examiner today, with Martin O'Neill last night defending what he called a brilliant Roy Keane. He's defended his assistant manager. He has said it's up to the players to prove themselves to the management, and that Roy Keane is right to criticise them. I think the manner of that criticism is what Martin O'Neill should have a problem with, but doesn't, because he's really defending Roy. But there's now this huge whole twist in the whole affair now with this recording.
There's a WhatsApp group message between the players, which, by the way, I'd be very pissed off with if I got up to read the stories in the paper this morning, because the WhatsApp is out there.
Yeah.
Someone forwarded it onto someone, and then, as you know, these things go viral. And it's alleged that one of the players says in the WhatsApp group basically the feelings of the camp and the group of players, and they're giving out mad about Roy Keane. Now, I think one of the papers has transcribed the audio. I haven't heard it in full, but I'll tell you this much, that whatever about the whole Roy Keane versus the players and players versus Roy Keane, I'd be very annoyed with one of the players, because it's only the players group. Someone forwarded it onto the papers.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there you'll see some of the papers have the transcription of the audio recording today, and it's apparently one of the players. Yeah.
Do you know what I think is kind of funny about the whole thing is that, like, when was Saipan? 2002.
2002, yeah.
And I lost all respect for Roy Keane when that happened, as did a lot of people. I know people were really split, and a lot of people thought he was right. I really thought he was wrong. And it's taken years for me to like Roy Keane again. And in the past few years, I really like him again. You know, I'm like, sure, feck it. That was so long ago. I'm over it. He's being a jerk again. Like, it's like, you know, what's that saying? A leopard doesn't change its spots or whatever. Here he is again. I can't stand that kind of heavy-handed, bullish sort of language to use with players. I think it's wrong, and it's now cost us Harry Arter. By all accounts, it could have something to do with the Declan Rice affair. You're a Roy Keane fan, though, aren't you?
I'm a Roy Keane fan.
You won't hear a word said against him.
Well,
I had come back to really liking him,
yeah,
you know, and I'm off him again now. If this stuff's true, no. It's not. It's not professional, you know.
Well, you see, I will agree that there isn't any need for the language, but I will say this: like his entire career was made one of the greatest teams ever, and none of them did any of this crack, and that's the way he sees it. None of them did any of this. No, I better stay out of this. I have a bit of a niggle. He kind of played with teams, and he did it himself, where they played through the pain barrier. For the right reasons or the wrong reasons, but that's his mentality. So that's all I can say in defence. I can't defend the language. You're spot on there.
It's not even just the language, you know, because like it's the attitude though. It's like it's so old school, you know. I'll show these boys like who's boss, you know. Anyway, we'll talk about it more on the show probably this morning, but it's all over the front pages of the papers. At this stage, I'd keep Roy Keane sooner than Martin O'Neill, because I think him backing him up in this kind of the whole thing. We'll talk about it on the show later this morning, okay? Hotels charging over €150 a night to face a tax hike. Hotels that are charging more than 150, you would see this when you're looking at hotels. Say if you're going to Dublin for a weekend, there does seem to be a under 150, over 150 kind of divide between a lot of them. They could be slapped with higher taxes in a likely budget proposal, says the Irish Examiner today. That's interesting. Gallagher is in the race officially now. Sean Gallagher in the race officially to challenge Michael D. Higgins. That's in the Times Ireland edition front page. Keane facing calls for the sack over player row is another headline in the Times Ireland edition. 40% of children, this is 8 to 13 year olds, talk to complete strangers online. I think that is shocking. Yeah. The huge new study shows the scale of smartphone use among 8 to 13 year olds. 30 years on, Kylie sings with Jason again. Look at them.
Yeah, I watched it. It was absolutely terrible.
Awful, yeah.
It was really bad, actually.
What were they at?
It was Hyde Park in London, but it was like she started singing it, then brought him out, and it was just like, ugh.
Was it especially for you?
Yeah, it was terrible.
Cringe, man.
It really,
cringe.
It was great. The crowd loved it, but the sound was cat and everything.
No.
Yeah, it was brutal.
Like, let it go.
I was going to record and play it for us on the show yesterday morning, and the more I went on, I was like, no, I'm not playing this.
And there's and the Irish Times front page as well, more on the presidential candidates. At least 5 candidates now to contest the presidential election, with Sean Gallagher and Joan Freeman both yesterday securing their 4 councils' backing. So that's on the front page of the Irish Times today.
The top trends in Ireland this morning. Claire Byrne Live is trending. There was it was back last night for its new series, and there was a debate on the HPV vaccine last night. The Celebrity Big Brother final is trending as well. Ryan Thomas won it last night.
Over.
It's over, yeah. Done and dusted last night. He says, one of the quotes today says he'll try and forgive Roxanne Pallett because she's suffered enough. But he won it last night. He was the favourite anyway. Sean Gallagher is obviously trending as well this morning, as Elaine just mentioned. He's officially now on the ballot paper along with Joan Freeman after they secured the backing yesterday. And ICPWC 18.
Catchy.
The International Congress of Parliamentary Women's Caucuses was held in Dublin Castle yesterday. That's also trending this morning. And another story, which I know you'll be sad to hear, is Olivia Newton-John. She's after getting cancer for a 3rd time. This time it's in the lower of her spine is where the cancer has appeared. And she has come out and said that she's actually taking the cannabis oil for us, because where she lives in California, it's legal, and her husband's actually growing it, and they're using it for her spine, but for treatment. But yeah, so very sad. It's her 3rd time getting cancer, because I think she had it in her breast and she had it in her shoulder as well, which was bizarre. So Olivia Newton-John, sad news there this morning. And do you hate spiders?
Not particularly. I don't like them, but...
Well, they're going to start coming indoors now with the weather changing, and we're heading into the winter, right?
Okay.
And scientists have pinpointed the perfect time to leave your house if you want to avoid running into a spider.
Well, what is it? Please say it's like 6:25.
No.
Oh.
It's 7:35 p.m.
Oh.
I have no idea how they worked this out or where this came from, but 25 to 8 in the evening is the best time to leave your house to avoid running into a spider.
I'd rarely leave my house at that time. Unless I was going out for dinner or something.
Yeah, so no. You
Very-
can't go to work.
very strange.
Ring your boss and tell them that you can't go to work because you have to avoid spiders till 7:30 tonight.
What was that story we saw about a tarantula yesterday in the papers?
Yeah, something in the Examiner about it. Now, I must talk to our Trevor. There was a Trevor Galvin from Tralee, found the skin of a tarantula, as in the tarantula had shed its skin and molted, yeah. And it was in the Examiner yesterday. It was on the streets of Tralee, and but our Trevor, I didn't see him yesterday to ask, was that you? Because he never said it. So and we saw the pictures of it. He took a picture. This guy took a picture on his phone, and it was quite mad. But the size of my fist was huge.
You told me that story, okay, and then I was walking along outside our building here yesterday, and I saw this little clump of black feathers, and I thought it was like part of a crow's tail, and I stood over it for maybe 20 seconds. I was like, oh God, that's awful! Like, what an end to that little bird's life, to have part of their wing torn off, and it was kind of gross and sad all at once. And I was like, oh. And I walked along a little bit depressed about the whole thing. Walked about another 10 steps, and there was like a hat, like a black felt hat with with feathers. So it was like feathers off a hat, and I nearly had a little funeral over the crow that I thought I was mourning.
So sad.
I was like, what an awful death.
That's funny.
And then I walked on, I was like, oh, for God's sake, it's a bloody hat.
That's awkward.
I don't know why someone's hat was there, but anyway.
Yeah.
There it was, with crow feathers, lovely hat.
Does anyone else know anything about this tarantula-esque creature found on the streets of Tralee on Sunday evening, I think it was? Let us know. And also, by the way, let me just be cheeky here. If you have heard this WhatsApp voice message from allegedly from the Irish team, forward it to us. We'd love to hear it. 083 300 3300. Right, we're going to go because we get the show rocking. We have more family tickets as well for the Ballymac Vintage Rally, which is on this weekend. So that's coming up on the show this morning.
Yeah. Have a great Tuesday. We'll talk to you later, guys. Bye.
Good luck. Bye. Thanks for coming.